And now we are so honored to have Anna Bay here as our guest to tell us how she really inspires others and how you got started. And I know, Anna, that you're a strong believer, as I am, in the law of attraction. I mean, the law of attraction, it works. It's really, I always tell people it's the law of karma. What you put out, you're going to get back. So, be careful what you're doing and what you're thinking and how you do it. But I know that you have a story and we all want to hear your story. How did you get into the law of attraction and how did you work it and how did it work for you?
All right, Joni. Well, thank you, by the way, for the lovely introduction. So sweet of you. And hello to everyone who's here. So happy to be here. For those of you maybe who do not know, I have been working with Joni for quite some time. I don't know if you share these things, but I'm happy to share that.
No, I didn't. I didn't tell them anything. But yeah, we talk all the time.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, she's one of my clients, and she's such a strong believer in everything metaphysical and astrology. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think we have been like working together for over a year, maybe a year and a half, or maybe even more. I don't know at this point. But basically, me and Joni meet almost every month. And she's been so helpful in both business and personal life. So I'm just super grateful to have connected with you, Joni.
Thank you.
So this whole metaphysical law of attraction, my line of work, some of you might not know me, some might. I'm a YouTuber. I am a content creator since about a decade ago, actually. I started back in the good old blogging days with a blog about luxury lifestyle, because although I am interested in the spiritual life, I'm also interested in the little bit more superficial life. So I'm the person who likes to have my both feet in both worlds, basically. Anyway, so fast forward, and I created a YouTube channel in 2019, and that one took off, and now I have quite a substantial following there, which I'm really grateful for. But I wanted to share with you something because I have been working with law of attraction, and I'm sure many of you have heard about these law of attraction success stories. So I'm sure I'm not the only, like the first one you're going to hear, or I might be, who knows. But I find these stories to be quite important to share because back in the days before I attracted anything good in my life, I was seeking out these type of stories because I wanted to get motivated to work on myself, what I call level up in life. And I was very much interested in it. And stories like this helped me, get motivated to also do a law of attraction and also help me believe that it works, right? Because if you don't believe that law of attraction works, it won't work. You have to believe in it, right? So yeah, I don't even remember when I got introduced to law of attraction, but I heard of it, and I think it was thanks to The Secret, who popularized it. And I remember back in 2016, and this was right before I met my husband, who I'm married to now. And I was seeing someone else back then. And for many years, I wanted to find my future husband. I was 30 years old. I had just had my Saturn return. Awful time of my life, by the way. But I did actually something good with my Saturn return, just as like an FYI. I started therapy during my Saturn return, and it actually was, I would say, the best investment I ever done in myself. And I'm sure it also did contribute to, all the positive things I was able to attract, because I actually did take some form of action and did, take responsibility for things in my life. And I think that's really important. Anyway, so 2016, I am seeing someone. The relationship is yet again a bad relationship. And, at that point, we're just so fed up. We're thinking, when am I ever going to meet my future husband? When is my love life ever going to work? It's just, one after the other, relationship just doesn't work. And I'm starting to lose faith in it all. And I was really disappointed. I remember this very clearly. We had just broken up with that person. I came home. I was really sad. And a few days prior, a girlfriend of mine had been at my house, and she had just, no, sorry, I had been to her house, and she had bought a bunch of books from Amazon from The Secrets. She literally bought the whole series. And I asked her, what is that? Like, what are you up to? She's like, no, I want to, because she also wanted to like attract a husband. So she's like, yeah, I'm having this little project that I want to attract a husband, so I'm going to do this law of attraction thing. And I knew a little bit already about law of attraction, so I said to myself, oh, okay, interesting, right? But I kind of just parked there in my subconscious. So come this day of this breakup with that person, I come home, and before that I had actually, okay, now I feel I'm a bit scatterminded, but I had actually, after being at my girlfriend's house, went home and ordered those books, and then they got delivered, right? So I came home after this breakup, and I see those books standing there. I had just unpacked them. And in that moment, and I remember it so clearly, I felt like I had this choice, right? And I just wanted to go home and cry and be upset. And, I feel so miserable. And it's time to start this depressive phase yet again, right? But then I looked at those books, and somehow those books, they signaled opportunity to me. It's like they were just piled up there looking at me. And something was making me feel drawn to them, right? So I told to myself, you know what, I have a choice right now. I actually could do something really productive and try to kind of bite my lip in a way and not go into the usual, sadness and depression, and maybe just see, what if I choose another route for once, instead of going into the victim mode and so sad and all men are jerks, So I decided, okay, I'm not going to now sit and cry. I'm going to start reading these books. And I started with the most basic one, The Secret, I think the first book. And I started reading. And I felt it was great, especially when you are a beginner to law of attraction. So I read the second book and then the third. I think my most favorite one was The Power. Really, really good book. Can recommend it. Anyway, so I told myself as I was reading them, because they're very motivating, these books, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to try this out. I have nothing better going on for myself. I have nothing to lose. Let's see if this really works. And so I basically started. I didn't put a time frame or anything to it, but I can spill you the tea, is that I went on this incredibly intensive 30-day obsessive law of attraction frenzy, literally speaking. I don't know why, I just really got sucked into the books. I started doing all the exercises in the books. I started, doing what they were saying to do, but I also kind of developed my own routine, which I'm going to share with you. So every day I had this strict routine because I wanted to. I did my affirmations. I did them several times per day. Literally, I was writing down the things that I wanted to have in my life. So I said them in the form of, let's say, I am married, or I am in a loving relationship, or whatever, that type of thing. So I had a bunch of affirmations that I said. I started my day with them. As soon as I woke up, I started my day with affirmations. I used to go for a power walk in the morning, especially I like to go. I was living in London back then. So I was walking to Hyde Park. And I remember walking there in Hyde Park, affirmating with all the greenery and the trees, because I always felt that my energy maximizes when I'm around nature. Something about it that, I don't know, when I just feel like nature recharges my energy and I become more powerful. So I was saying my affirmations there among the trees, and I really felt like the trees were listening to me. I know I sound crazy, but I kind of feel like nobody's judging me here. Anyway, I was doing that, but I was also working a lot with gratitude. So I did my gratitude list, and I was doing that several times per day. And that made me feel incredibly good. And what was interesting was that although I had just broken up with this guy, I had no feeling of depression or anxiety or sadness at all. Instead, it was like this power law of attraction just energized me so much, with so much positivity. And actually, I felt amazing. I don't, looking back, that was probably one of my happiest month in my life, because I was just so happy. I was doing the gratitude, and I know that when you are actually, I think there is a study, I read it somewhere, when you're doing affirmations and gratitude in particular, your body actually releases dopamine. So I guess that's why I was so happy yeah. Anyway, but what I was also doing, which I found very interesting in the secret books, is that they speak a lot about that you should vibrate on the energy of love. That's kind of like the core energy that we're all are from, and so on. And especially because I wanted to attract love into my life, I felt like, yes, that's exactly on the energy that I want to vibrate on. It makes so much sense for me. So what I was also doing, I I was walking around and I was silently sending people love, and it made me also feel really good. So I would, let's say I would take the subway, I would be there in the subway, I would sending people love. I would be like, oh, that person probably needs my loving energy, sending them that energy, and yeah, just doing these things, right? But it made me feel great. And I had some other props too that I was doing. So I started adding a bit of props to my ritual. As I wanted to get married, I went on and I bought this like fake plastic diamond ring that I was wearing around my house. And I was looking at it, I was imagining, oh, I'm so married and my husband, that type of thing. I also had a vision board where I put up pictures of how I wanted things to be, a picture. What was interesting is that I put up a picture of this man, and he looks in his face very similar to my husband that I ended up meeting, which is quite interesting. I also wrote down a list of the type of person that I want to meet. And again, quite interesting. Most of the things ended up happening with the person that I met. And then what happened was that pretty much, I think it was almost exactly 30 days after I started reading the books, I met my husband. And I don't know, call it a coincidence, call it magic, I don't know, but it happened. And that's why for me, it was the biggest thing I've ever attracted into my life. I do believe though that I have attracted many other things too, like the lifestyle that I live today, and like my career and things like that. But that in particular was like a strong evidence. And I actually have a small other little evidence that I want to share with you, because in the Secrets book, there was a chapter where they give you an exercise. Start by practicing attracting something small into your life, like a colleague walking in and offering you a cup of coffee or something like that, just so that you can kind of get into the mood of law of attraction and making it feel like, oh yeah, it actually works. So I remember I was sitting on the subway, and this is really bizarre. I even have a picture of evidence of this happening, by the way. So I was sitting on the subway and I was reading this chapter, right? And I was like, oh, come on, this can't be true. So I said, okay, what can I like practice to attract? So I said to myself, okay, what if someone else also reads the secret book? Let's see if I can attract that. I kid you not, I swear this happened. I have evidence on my phone. A few stations later, a guy, maybe in his 20s, walks in. Yeah, random actually, was a guy. Usually it's more like a women thing, I guess. Anyway, he walks towards the end of the carriage and he sits down and he opens a book by The Secret. I think he was reading The Hero, actually. And I took a photo of him because I was mind blown. I was like, how can this be? So yeah, that was my story. I don't know if you have any questions, but for me, that was like the biggest thing that I've ever attracted. And I really hope it can inspire some of you to take this action, because it helped me.
Well, yes, I want to ask you a few things, Anna, because, well, like you say, I have been following the law of attraction forever. And actually, our very first speaker, part of this series was Joe Vitale, who was in The Secret. And so I've been doing it for a long time. I know it works, but let me tell you guys something really funny. My husband always, I know this sounds silly, gets the best parking places. And I mean, they're always right up front, and that's a small thing. But you know what I came to realize why he always got the good parking places was whenever he's in traffic, he always lets people in. You know, where I'm in a hurry, I'm like, I'm not gonna let that person in. And I've been waiting so much longer. Why should this person get in front of me? Right? I'm coming from this terrible mindset. He always slows down, lets everyone in. And I realize that's the law of karma, the law of attraction. He is always letting people in. Therefore, his reward is the great, I mean, unbelievable parking places. I mean, better than the valet gets. All of a sudden we get one right in front. It's just the craziest thing always. But he's always, and I brought it to his attention, and it was so funny. He said, we were going to the movies Sunday, and he said, watch, I am going to get a really good parking place, because I let this person in the other day and people were honking at me because I did. Sure enough, very front, we drove right in and it was impossible. So, I mean, that's kind of silly, but it is, you know, what you put out, you're getting back. I realize that it's karma. And so, but besides all that, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Because we've been pretty much following a lot of every week we come together and we've been following the law of attraction, and we've been talking about our vision boards. We've been talking about everything that we need to do to manifest what we truly want. And we've had, you know, I'm starting to call this class the miracles class, because I remember Joe used to always call his work the work of miracles. But I wanted to ask you, did you ever like form a support team, or did you ever network or get mentors in this or anything like that, Anna?
No, I just really did it by myself, which also kind of shows you that it doesn't have to be so complicated.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I also felt, you know, I mean, I used the most basic book you can find out there on the subject, and I felt it really worked for me, you know.
Yes.
So,
So which book is that? Is that the very first one, or is that the one that's that you were talking about?
well, I bought all of them. So I
Uh-huh.
primarily used the very first one. I think it's called Just the Secret. But then I also used The Power, which I found it was my favorite. I just really liked it so much.
And that one's pretty current too. I think I saw what's her name that wrote all those books? That
Rhonda Burns. I don't
yes,
know.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, because I saw her interviewed about the power, and when they were talking about it, I thought, I got to get that book. And did I know? I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna order it today, though.
But you know, I like also just getting the audiobooks and listen to them on repeat, because you need to refresh that information, even if you read the book, you know. Plus, it's easy, you know, when you're just driving or anything like
That
that.
is a great idea. I never even
Yeah.
thought of that. I always just get, you know, books on my Kindle, but you know, when you're driving, there's no better time to do this work and listen.
Exactly, because law of attraction is that type of content. You actually can just like have it in the background, just tuning into it and let it energize you, really. That's how I see it.
I agree. That's amazing.
And I feel like it's such a wonderful tool, and so many people need to use it. I feel like all the successful people use it, to be honest.
Well, I do too, and I don't think they're aware of it. I think it's just ingrained in them that they
Yes.
subconsciously, intuitively know all these principles. And here we're putting a name to it all, but it really is something that, you know, all the successful people in the world are practicing, because we have to visualize things before we manifest them, whether they're in our head, our visions, and that's what makes it happen. I have to say, just about every single thing I've ever wanted in life, I have manifested. And
Really? How did you do it? What was your strategy?
well, the very first thing was I knew I was going to get it.
Okay.
It wasn't like kind of like, oh, I'm praying so hard. I want it. But I didn't know when I'd get it. But I knew I always would. I remember we had this gift store, and you know, I would go shop for the gift store, and I would always get all these beautiful things that I loved, because I thought one day I'm going to have a really big house. I know I am. and I'm going to need all these things for my house. But what was crummy about it is I was so attached to some of the paintings and the pieces that they wouldn't sell. Because I think I was like, oh, please don't buy that. I want that later. So that wasn't a good tactic for having a gift store. But I knew that, I was going to have a place to put these things. It wasn't like, and this was like, oh, probably 10, 12, 15 years before it all happened. I kind of wish it could have happened sooner, but I knew it was going to happen. That was my first clue that it would happen. And I guess things happen when they're supposed to sometimes. We can't force it,
I mean, because me and Joni obviously speak a lot. We have been speaking a lot about this period that's starting now, this like 3 month bad worldwide
Yeah.
events and astrologically challenging time. And I mean, I feel like some small bits and bobs have started even happening in my life, but actually on a very small level. And I'm all the time thinking, I wonder if I'm now attracting this because of the belief or no that, this might happen. And that's something I worry about a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I think, of course, life is not perfect. We're not always going to have, great things. Everything's cyclic. And my thoughts are about this, that I always remind myself that sometimes things need to change and we have to go through a birthing process for them to change. And to be born is so painful. So sometimes we have to go through hardships to get to something much greater and much better. But my thoughts are always this: I always believe that something better is going to come, no matter what we have to go through. And maybe we don't like it. And yes, in so many ways, we have to be responsible for our own lives. Whatever it is that's not working in our life, we're responsible, not all the other people out there or the world. And I think sometimes when things get a little tougher in the world, it makes us stronger and it makes our spiritual practices stronger. In other words, it's an opportunity. Anytime something gets tough, I always feel like it's some type of opportunity for change and for self-improvement. Because if there's something I don't like out there, it's my fault. I can change me to change that. So I think because everything's getting so intense out there, it's our responsibility for our own lives to work on ourselves. And that's why we actually have this class, because I knew things were going to start getting really, really tough. And I wanted to bring people together with like-mindedness about the power of positive thinking and how we can change our lives and help the world in a better way by filling ourselves with light instead of the darkness, while everyone else is full of darkness, because this is the way we're going to help ourselves, plus make a difference in the world. So that there you are. I feel like always it's an opportunity for growth on some level, personally, and that will affect the world globally. So does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, totally, because to be honest, I don't know. I have been a bit lazy with my law of attraction practices these days, but kind of when you told me about, this phase that's coming and everything, I actually started working again with law of attraction and really focus more on positivity, because I kind of have the belief that, negative things are always going to happen in life, but maybe we have some influence to somehow minimize the effect of them or the scale of them or whatever, so yeah, I've been working a lot with law of attraction lately.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the law of cause and effect. And yes, we all have to work with it. And we can't forget. And everyone here says they're so glad I started this class, because every week we get reminded of what we need to be doing, like you saying, I've been getting a little lazy. We all get lazy, and so we need this reminder every week to get us back on track. And with everything getting more and more intense, I mean, we feel the energy, if you put on the news, which heaven forbid we shouldn't, it feels really heavy. But, I always believe what is happening is always for our highest good. And things are always going to eventually improve and get better. And if it may look ugly out there, then that's what needs to happen for things to sort of purge and change for something better. I always believe there is a divine force in this universe that is all about getting us to our highest potential if we tap into it. There is the spirit of, I always say the spirit of whatever you want to call it within us, God or the divine. It's there and it's in everyone, and we can always tap into that. And that spirit which is in all of us, wants us all to grow and improve and get better. And I believe the world we're always growing, and it's for the best, not for the worst. And it may look like it's not so easy, but it is always improving. That's how I feel.
I see.
Yeah. So another thing, I have a few notes here I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Yes, the one thing that I really love that you said was about gratitude. That is the key issue. We have to really come from a place where we think to ourselves, what is it that I am so grateful for? Because we're so grateful, all of us here, to be able to participate in this coming together group. Everything in our life, we have to really come from appreciation and gratefulness, because as you know, when you do, you magnify more things to be grateful for. And that's a key issue. I'm so glad you said that. And I love the way you were talking about the way you listed things. I always tell people in the area of relationships, you've got to always list exactly what you want out of a partner, because when you're vague, you're not going to get it.
So true.
And it's okay. I tell people, whatever you really want, list it. Don't judge it. Just list it. If you do want somebody with money, don't be ashamed, list it. If it's true. People need to be clear, because
Yes.
when you're not clear, it will not come. And that's one key issue I found. The clearer you are, the more it's going to come to you. So I love the way you said that you listed everything that you wanted out of a person. I always tell my clients that are looking for a relationship, this is what I tell them: list everything that you want, but then realize you have to be those things. Why? Because relationships are a reflection of who we are. We can't expect them to be something we're not.
No.
And even when you change your vibrational frequency through these spiritual practice such as this, then your frequency changes, and you're not even attracted to the old boyfriends that caused you so much, heartache, because you've changed. You're not going to be attracted to them. And so therefore you've upped your vibrational frequency and the type of person that you're attracting into your life. Do you have any comments on anything like that?
What I was saying earlier about that I started therapy during my Saturn return, I think that was obviously also very pivotal in my life. And had I not started therapy, I'm not sure I would have been able to keep this relationship, to be honest, because I needed to do certain work on myself to improve certain things. So I don't believe in that, you should just sit at home and do law of attraction all day long and think that your life is going to change, because it's not going to change. I don't believe in that. You have to take some form of action, but you also have to take responsibility for things that needs to be changed in your life. Because if you don't change anything, it's always going to be the same, right? As the saying goes. So
no, that's 100% right. And I think it's so cool the way you kind of gave it 30 days. You you did have a time limit. At first you said there wasn't any time limit, but you had a time limit. And I think that makes you work harder when you sort of like have a deadline. So we have to put these kind of rules in our life if we want to really get things done. We can't just haphazardly say, oh, I think I'll do it, but no, you were like, the thing that you did is you immersed yourself into it completely and totally. And it worked in 30 days. I think,
yes.
yeah.
I mean, I did it with quite an intensity. I don't think most people maybe, I mean, anyone can do it, by the way. So I'm not saying that I did something unique, but I did it very intensively. And because I was so motivated and because it made me feel so good, and because I was also having these small evidences along the way. So it was an interesting journey. And the fact that it happened in 30 days, maybe it was because of the intensity I did it. Who knows? But it worked for me, at least.
Well, that's funny that you said you were sending love to people on the subway and where you were traveling. I used to do the same thing as a flight attendant. I remember I would look into people's eyes and I would send them love. And always I had the most delightful flights with the most delightful people. I just, it was a fun job. Because I feel like if you really learn to serve people, you want to do such things and it comes back to you. We actually talked about this last week. I pull I pull a symbol from my book of symbols, and I pulled this picture of a flight crew all dressed in, a chef's outfit, and they were in first class serving these people, and you could see they were having this lovely conversation in the photo. And it was like giving and receiving, that when you give, it's going to come back, even if you're just a lowly flight attendant, as I was for years. But it's like it comes back. Now I get to be the passenger that gets to be served. So we switch places. It's so beautiful. But I noticed that other flight attendants that I work with, they would be so mean and they'd come on with such a bad attitude and they hated everything and they hated all the people. They always got in trouble with the passengers. What you put out, you get back. I never ever had any problems with the passengers, but I had problems with the flight crew I was working with that had a bad attitude. I was like, there's nothing wrong with these passengers. It's the people you got to work with. But anyway, that's my experiences where I would actually think to send love, because remember what you're putting out there. You're putting that love out there. It's going to come back to you. That's the law of the universe too.
Yeah.
So that's
And
really cool.
I must say, because a lot of people who follow me, they think, oh, Anna, you're always so positive. How come you're always so positive? And little disclaimer, you cannot be 100% positive all the time, but I never do social media when I'm negative, because who wants that energy out there, right? But I must say though, that I have been incredibly negative in my life. I have been the ultimate negative Nancy. Unfortunately, I inherited a side of that from a parent of mine who is very negative, because I didn't know better, right? If you're raised by someone who is acting in a certain way, it's very easy to follow those footsteps. So I used to be very negative, and believe it or not, my life wasn't great back then. I didn't live the life I live today. I only started living my leveled up lifestyle once I became more positive. And that was because of law of attraction. That was also because of some spiritual work that I did, but it was also because of therapy. So that's like a little combination of the little positivity makeover that I've had, because majority of the times I would be negative before, and I don't miss that side of me at all.
Oh my God, I can relate to you 100%. My mother was the most negative person in the whole world. Nothing positive came out of her mouth. I am not kidding you. And of course, I was the same way, a victim. But you know who woke me up one day? I was studying the law of attraction. And one day, my youngest son, or all my sons probably, but but said, Mom, you don't follow what you preach. And that day I said, they're right. And I quit and I changed, and that's when my life changed. But
Yeah,
I
it
did
does
all the
change.
same stuff too. Therapy, astrology, a law of attraction. I did all the same stuff, but I had to realize I was causing this negative life through my negative attitude. You're 100% right, Anna.
So true. And everyone has this experience. Everyone who had law of attraction work for them, they oftentimes were negative in the past, but their life changed once they chose the light.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Good.
crazy how it works.
Yeah, anything else you want to share before we open up the door for people to ask you, pick your brain about anything?
Feel free, we can do questions now.
Okay, all right. I know people are wanting to ask you questions. Go ahead.
How do we do the questions, by the way?
Well, they're gonna just when they're gonna unmute themselves and start talking to you
Oh,
directly.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there's a chat as well. I'm reading it now.
Mhm.
Hi, Anna. Can you hear me? This is Danica.
Of course. Hi, Danica.
Hi. I'm going to turn my video on too. Hi, it's so nice to meet you.
Same
I
here.
did your course last year, and I have to tell you, I found you and Joni around the same time. It was very tough time for me, health-wise, mentally, and you guys are so inspiring, and I love what you do, and thank you. Just thank you.
Aw, thank you. That's so nice.
Well, thank you. You did a lot for me. Both of you have. So I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much.
It's so nice meeting you.
Same here. Oh, how funny.
Okay, come on, guys. I know there's people here.
Hello,
They
this is
take a little
Joni. Can
time.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I just wanted to find out, is the book Power, is that Robert Greene that wrote it? Is that
No, it's Rhonda Burns who wrote it. She wrote several books from the Secret series, and The Power is really good. I can recommend it.
I see. What's her name again?
The name of the author? Rhonda
Yes.
Burns. It's
Okay.
actually in the chat. Somebody has written it in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
And I
Thank
must also
you.
thank you. I must also recommend because the other book in the series, I think it's called not the magic, but it's called something else. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But basically, the whole book is just with law of attraction exercises. So for those who might feel like easily bored with just doing gratitude or affirmations, I can recommend buying this book with just exercises. You will have plenty of variation in what you can do to kind of improve your law of attraction practice.
Written by the same author?
Yes, by the same author. So if you just check her out on Amazon, you will find this book for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm so happy to talk to you too.
Oh, same
Thank
here.
you. Thank you. I went to your website, and so this is nice. Very nice.
Oh,
I get to
lovely.
know you. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for asking a question.
Anna, I have a question for you.
Sure. Oh wow, I like your board back there.
Oh, thanks. I'm a Joni graduate, so I learned the old-fashioned way. I work at it.
Oh, cool. I love it.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
What are the next 3 things that you are going to be manifesting?
I have this rule. I never share what I want to manifest because I know it sounds maybe not, it's nothing ever personal to anyone. It's because I believe if I put it out there before it has manifested, there will be some form of blockage happening and it's not going to come to me. I don't know why, it's my belief. So I never share before I have it.
That's probably, you probably have some instinctual or intuitive understanding of how it works. So it's not silly. That's probably just an internal understanding.
Because I feel sometimes, people have their own biases or their own opinions or maybe a little bit of jealousy sometimes. And what if I say something that someone else also wants and they send out like a little bit of negative energy, then maybe that gets blocked, like that blocks my energy that I want to attract that. I don't know. So
yeah, for sure. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Anna, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, of course. Hi there.
I had a question. So when you first started doing this, that month-long process that you talked about, was it hard for you to meditate or did you just do affirmations? Did you really like meditate for a few minutes and, do that kind of, I don't know, I'm all new to this. I've heard about, that you have to go down to like an alpha state or something. I know it's too technical, but it's so hard for me to meditate because my mind is like all over the place. It's like a bunch of monkeys in there. Because when I start meditating, I start thinking about everything I need to do today. and it's so hard. So I was wondering if you had to do that. Were there any challenges, or how did you overcome that?
No, I didn't really meditate a lot during that time. I have been meditating in the past and I love meditation, but not really during that time. I was just so in the bubble of law of attraction and doing these kind of practices and exercises. So I was primarily doing that. But one thing that I was very consistent with was that every morning, as soon as I opened my eyes, I would immediately do my kind of little routine with affirmations and gratitude. And I would almost do it in kind of half sleep mode. So it's almost a bit like a meditative state. And actually a friend of mine, she does a lot of law of attraction. She told me that that is actually a really good time to try and manifest things. You could also do it when you're like almost falling asleep. I don't know, something, she explained it to me in a technical way that I don't really understand, but
Yes. That's what I've heard too. Like in the early morning time, that's when you're closest to that level in your brain where you're not totally awake, where you're in your conscious mind, but apparently you're closer to your subconscious mind, and you don't really have to meditate. And I love what your friend did, because it sounds like it's easier than just like trying to meditate,
Exactly.
But I'm also getting a lot of hope from what you're saying, because you said you didn't really meditate. So you just followed whatever is in that book. So there were other techniques in there which didn't require you to meditate, right?
No.
Okay.
I think what's important is to do it consistently. I think my consistency helped a lot, and you really have to, I mean, the goal, I think, of law of attraction is to vibrate majority of your time on a positive energy, right?
Yes.
And an energy of love as well. So as long as you do that, I think that's the most important. Then how many times you say your affirmations or not, I think that's less important, but still I think consistency is key.
It's not about monotonously repeating it like a mantra. It's about believing it and being consistent, right?
Yeah, and I must actually say something, because one of the things that I was doing was that as soon as I started feeling like, oh, now I'm just kind of rambling it just to kind of get it over and done with. And as soon as that starts happening, I would stop myself and like change up my affirmations. So instead of saying, I am happily married, something, I would say, I am now with the man of my dreams or something, because that would like give me new fresh energy to connect with. So
yes, so that you're not going into that phase where you're, kind of monotonous about it, right? You have to really have feeling attached with it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you really have to feel energized by what you are saying and really believe it. If you don't believe it, it's not going to work.
Love it. Beautiful. I'm just so happy we got to hear from you and talk to you today. And I follow your YouTube. I think you're a very positive person. You're full of positive energy and bubbliness. And like you said, you probably don't make YouTubes when you're negative. I don't either. But I just love listening to your YouTube videos, because it brings a kind of like a ray of sunshine, when you listen to you. So thanks for coming today, and thanks for all your advice. And I'll definitely get the book.
Thank you. I wanted to actually ask Joni something, because Joni presented me, this person who does this. How did you say, Joni, that I am? I say it how it is, and I go straight to the point. And I remember you once told me that I was born during a Mercury retrograde.
Is that right? Let me.
Yeah, you did tell me I was born during Mercury retrograde. And I just found it so funny, because you kind of like said like, oh, this, speaker, this, speaker, that. But I think when you are born during Mercury retrograde, you actually have challenges in speaking. And I've always felt that in my life, actually. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how I ended up on YouTube. I still don't know why, because I don't think I would have ever, I don't know. It's not like I feel comfortable with it. I don't even feel comfortable actually, doing these live streams. It's pretty nerve-wracking, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know, that's so funny, because I talk to so many people like you who are, big personalities, and they're nervous to get up on stage. I have to share with you guys, she was so nervous about doing this today. And I said, we're just going to have a conversation. Stop.
You
It's
know, and Anna, we would never guess that if you didn't say that.
exactly.
You are so comfortable when you speak. It's from your heart. It doesn't even look like you prepared or anything, you know?
Right.
You're very comfortable.
I mean, I've been doing YouTube now for 4 years. I still feel uncomfortable, like even filming a regular YouTube video, even when I'm alone in a room. It's so weird how these feelings, they don't really go away, right? And before this live stream, I was quite nervous, and I don't know why, because I've done live streams so many times. But as soon as, you know, we started the session, I feel like the energy is so strong, and it kind of got me wired up. So,
Yeah.
so I feel good now.
No, I know. I'm the same way, believe it or not. I am. You know, everybody is for the first few minutes, like, you know, I guess it's just all our insecurities because we're putting ourselves out there, and for everyone to judge us and to, you know, say all these things that they love to say, all the what do you call them, trolls and things like that. But, you know, I always take the advice from my sons who said, Mom, any news is good news, and anything that they're going to the trouble to talk about you, good or bad, it's good for you, because and that's hard to accept. But you just have to realize, I came to a point where I decided if people are going to say bad things about me, it's them they're projecting onto me. It's not even me, it's their issues and their problems. And that's true. So every time somebody says, I think, no, that's not true, or I'll think something like that, you know, it's going to happen. I always think, you know what? They're talking about themselves. They're projecting all of their junk onto me, has nothing to do with me. So get over it, you know. That helps me because, you know, I sit there and do my YouTubes and I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, I shouldn't be saying this, or, you know, don't do this so much, or, you know, whatever. We all criticize ourselves, but it's all in the alignment that we can improve ourselves and get better. So every time we do anything, the next time we do it will be a little bit better, because practice makes us better. So you can see, I'm sure, Anna, if you go back to your first YouTubes, I go back to mine, and you think, oh my God, that was horrible.
That's so horrible.
You know, I was blinking too much and I was so nervous and stiff. And we learn how to, you know, gain confidence through practice. And you know, it's just, we have to realize that everyone out there is in the same boat. But, you know, what I take away is how many people you and I have both helped through our work. You empower women, you make women feel good about themselves, and you come from such a place of elegance and beauty. People like that. They want to be part of that. I always tell Anna all this stuff all the time in her readings too.
Yeah, me too.
People, you know, they have to be envious of somebody that's beautiful and poised and confident. Although we know that sometimes we have to pretend our confidence to be that, you know, we have to be what we want to be, in other words. So we project that image and we become that. So that's some other lessons. But, you know, I just think that that all of the social media and YouTube, one thing about you, Anna, is I do believe, you know, you tell all the women, I wasn't always like this, and this is how I got here. And you reveal things about yourself that most people would not, but you do it in the aspect of wanting to really help others. This is how I did it. You can do it too. I think that's so beautiful about you.
But do you think that's the Mercury, being born in Mercury retrograde, that's what it does to you? You maybe, I don't know, saying things that people wouldn't say, or
No, you know what it is? Whenever a planet's retrograde, you had an issue concerning what that planet's about in a past life. So in other words, in your past life, you felt like people didn't listen to you, or something about your communications. You couldn't say things you wanted to say, or you couldn't pronunciate. Maybe there's something wrong with speech, but that's what Mercury rules, communications.
Yeah.
And so usually when something's retrograde, you work on it more because you realize there's an issue with it. And by working on it, you overcome and you heal the karma from the past lives, number one. And number two, sometimes our disadvantages become our advantages because we worked harder on them. It's a focus. But I also remember you do have Mercury with Jupiter in the third house too. And that means you are great at communications,
Right.
and that you've worked on it. And social media and anything to do with getting information across to other people, and teaching is your gift. That's what I want to say. And you're a teacher, you're a natural born teacher. That's what you do with all your classes that you have with all the women. Tell people a little bit about that. We want to know more about what you do with your classes.
Well, so I have a few different courses because so first of all, I'm a certified image consultant and etiquette teacher as well, but I have gone through a transformation. So I'm just, a regular person who decided that I wanted to upgrade in life, level up my life. I wanted to live a more elegant life. I wanted to live my best life, ultimately speaking, and I wanted to look my best, feel my best, all of those things. So I embarked on a journey of transformation, and it was a long journey for me, and I did a lot of trial and errors. So once I kind of figured everything out, what works, what doesn't, what are the most common obstacles, I started also analyzing women with similar backgrounds to me, how they achieved success, like how they were able to level up their lives, and I started seeing a pattern. So I ended up creating a course and classes where I teach these things, because I think that today we have so much information available to us. I didn't have that information available, unfortunately, when I did this journey. And as a result, my transformation took a long time. And I just want to help women, save some time and not having to do the mistakes that I did. So that's what I'm passionate about today and what I teach, both on my YouTube, but also in my paid programs.
Yeah. So when do you have your paid programs? Do you have any coming up? Tell us about what people will get out of that program. Seriously.
Well, we do have like annual enrollments open. So right now we don't have anything open, but we do have a wait list if you are interested. I also have a workshop. If you go to levelupsecret.com, you can actually participate in this workshop where I showcase myself from back in the days before I leveled up, and I talk about my journey, how I did it, and how you can do it too, and what are some of the things that I have learned. So yeah, that one is free and it's available on levelupsecret.com. So yeah.
Oh, that's really cool, because I know you put all these before and after pictures of yourself. You're not afraid to do that.
Just yesterday on my YouTube channel, I uploaded a video called 7 beauty mistakes that I've made and regret, and I just, people might find me crazy because I upload these horrendous pictures of myself when I look like, you know how we are always very critical of ourselves, but I'm not shy to show, pictures where I had eyelashes, this long, or heavy makeup, or share details with my acne that I used to have, and all kinds of things. I don't feel embarrassed by that because I don't know, I just don't judge myself anymore. I judge myself in the past, but not anymore. And I think that because of this, I can actually help a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I see a lot of women would like to maybe achieve certain things, but they feel stuck. And sometimes, the answer is in front of us, but we don't see it. So my mission is to help, just like, maybe just raise a bit of awareness on things that at least helped me. And maybe if it helps, you or her or them, then that's great. Maybe it won't, but at least the information is there.
You know, when you look good, you feel good inside. And I think, you know, that they go together. When you have respect for yourself, you know, you really take care of yourself. And I think a lot of people, they're down and out, and they don't care anymore, and they don't want to try anymore. And you're that inspiration. Look, I was there. I used to be like you. And if I can do it, you can do it. I think that is such a cool aspect about yourself, because you make yourself down to earth. I mean, when people look at you, your image and, you know, your photos are so beautiful, but when you show those other ones, and you know, none of us wake up looking like that in the morning. We got to work at it, right?
Yeah, I showed some really crazy things, you know, but I don't know, I like it. It's my thing, I guess, and I don't mind, and I know that people appreciate it. So I think in today's society, we do need a bit more transparency. Everyone is too polished, and although I also like, you know, being polished, but I think it's nice to be also honest and real, and yeah, and that's how I build my work today.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I love your YouTube. I've learned a lot, you know, and etiquette. What happened to etiquette? It has been long gone in the world. I always taught my boys etiquette. You know, open the car door for your girlfriend. And my boys to this day will still open my car door for me. And I'll never forget, I told them to always go up to people and put your hand out to shake their hand and go, hi, my name is, you know, Austin Patry. And, you know, and always people are kind of taken back because, but I said, and listen, if any of the parents don't like it, it's their problem. Always remember to do that. And of course, the parents thought that was really cool, that the child was so confident and put their hand out. So I thought that was part of etiquette. And, you know, all of those things matter. And I think it's like also just being respectful of other people when you do have etiquette. It's like, how should we behave in a way that makes people feel good too? And that is part of etiquette, to be poised and to have social skills is something that most people are born with, but we need to teach people social skills, because social skills will open doors. And, you know, when you have more people around you that support you and love you, you know, you're going to succeed. So that's another thing. And I think you teach all of that beautifully, Anna, because I think it's a lost art that needs to be brought back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anna,
Yeah.
hi Anna, this
Hi.
is Sandeep. Only man around in this, but I always like to go for women only, women events and be the man. I have two daughters, so you know I want to be. So I did read your blog, your entire journey. In fact, your Paris Hilton meeting, and you know, right from Rome to Ibiza to Malta to Latin
Wow.
America. Yeah, I went to the very end. So I have two questions. One
Sure.
is, you know, I know you had a lot of relationships and all that, and you coach women. So one question is, what is it as a man I could do to any tips for men to be a better person? And the second thing is, I have two daughters, and my second daughter is very stylish, and you know, she's a natural in you know, fashion, and you know, she's probably 7, but I don't know where she gets it from, but you know, does makeup and you know, very sophisticated. It's a natural thing for her, and you know, we want to build her confidence too. So tips. So the second question is, what can I do to raise my daughters with confidence? Because sometimes yeah, so let me know. I speak too much. Those are the two questions. And
All
you know,
right.
for tips for men, and then second for my kids. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, first question, you know, I do think that men, we have less and less gentlemen today. And I think you know, when you add elegance to a man, he becomes a gentleman. And I think that is becoming a lost art too, unfortunately. So if you want to stand out as a man, I really think that's definitely the direction you should go. Of course, that's not everything. There's many important qualities of a man, that he's, you know, trustworthy, genuine, faithful, all those things. But I think, you know, that he treats his woman like a lady is important. And I think women really value that. So whether she is into elegance or not, that doesn't matter. But I think those are small details that will definitely make you stand out in a positive way. Everything from holding, you know, up the door for a woman, you know, giving her your hand when she exits the car as you open the door, you know, things like that, they matter, and they make the woman feel special and valued. And fortunately, it's not as common anymore. So that's my tip for sure. Second thing about your daughter, I think education is key, because without, when I say education, it can be something as simple as a few YouTube videos. I mean that it's about educating yourself on the matter, because that's how we actually start slowly developing confidence. Because lack of confidence is when we don't have experience. But when we start having experience, we actually start becoming more and more confident. We don't feel as new and insecure about something. We feel more comfortable and at ease. So that is my tip, but also to kind of have the exposure to go out there and, let's say, you know, elevate your style, or go out there and seek out something new, because you need that experience to grow confidence. Without experience, you can't really grow confidence, in my opinion.
Yeah, so thanks a lot. You know, I mean, she's just 7, but you know,
Oh,
she's just 7 years old. But
right.
the thing is, my wife and I, it's very different. You know, the way culturally when kids do a lot of the fashion thing and all that, we do. But then my wife is just let her live her life. You know, a makeup makeup kid, and you know, she dresses and she really enjoys it. So. You know, I can be, you know, not be old-fashioned and, you know, puritanical, but I just want to go with the flow, because culturally you're brought up with, and women, you're sure, but then I don't want to have install my fears or my this conditioning to her, you know, but sometimes it does brush in, you know, some things you do, but just go with the flow. But as you rightly said, give her the exposure, and
Yes.
you know, if she's really interested in that kind, you know, just let her go with the flow, instead of the traditional academic way of, you know, she has to do that, you know, just to let her go with the flow. But thanks a lot. And I like the way you write. I've not seen any of your YouTubes, but the writing style, because I myself am a blogger, and I can relate to, you know, it comes as if as it comes out as a genuine person, where each time you say, okay, I went, got back, and then again got back, again this, which is interesting, and you explored different things. So thank you, thanks, bye.
Thank you for that.
Well, we're almost out of time. Well, we are out of time. Anybody else want to say something?
Yeah. Okay, burning desire, and I'm driving and I'm traveling, but I absolutely had to say to Anna, your story mimics my story, completely different details, but I appreciate what you've done with your life, because just in doing what you've done, you've changed and helped so many people, men and women. And your message is just absolutely magical. And I too have 2 little girls, and it's a confidence thing. And confidence is absolutely the most important thing that you're going to try and teach them and empower them. But I just wanted to say thank you. You're amazing. I read your bio and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's somebody with my story. And it's a great story, and it's a great life. All the books you did, all the work you did, I second the whole therapy piece. I spent tens of thousands of dollars on myself, you know, on all those books you read. I read them too. All of the work you did, I did it too. And it only makes for a more magical, beautiful life, to the point where you don't have to meditate every day. It becomes more easy to manifest when you discipline yourself and you do it so often and you do it so consistently. It just becomes easier and more graceful. So anyway, I just had to say that I I shouldn't even be on this YouTube right now, but I am, or with you guys on the Zoom. But your story really, it touched my heart. And I just want to say you're an amazing, powerful soul human being. So I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I just wanted to quickly add to that, and thank you so much. I wanted to thank Joni and Anna. And what I feel is so beautiful here is what we're doing is we're bringing connectiveness together, and the courage really starts from the inside out. And I think that in bringing us together and speaking honestly about, I appreciate you talked about being shy and having things to overcome. I truly believe that beauty comes from the inside out, and courage and curiosity, these things have to rise in a person and in man or woman. And it is just to allowing. And I grew up luckily with parents who always said to me, you know what you want, you know what you believe. And here I am, when I lived half my life in California, right now I'm back in Germany, but it's the allowing of feeling, walking the path of your true beliefs, and just letting that always come first, and not believing somebody else wanting to push you into a norm. I certainly didn't go into norms. So I just think that is beautiful to bring this together. And I hope that this is my first time here on your shooting star. And I don't know yet what we are going to do, but I'm definitely looking forward to bringing more of our stories together, and I'm happy to join. And thank you for visiting with you, Anna, and looking forward to doing more of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to add any last minute words?
Yeah. Hi, Anna. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you. And I've been listening to you, and a couple of things came to me. First of all, whatever you do, when you speak, you have experience, you share your experience, you're so honest, and that is why you reach, you speak from the heart. So you are automatically touching everybody's heart who's watching you on YouTube or listening to you, and you are just so genuine. And the other thing I want to say is, I think you're very young. So that Mercury retrograde question, it'll just fade away. It is very beautiful. You have it in the third house with the Jupiter, expanding it, all the qualities. And sometimes Mercury is very critiquing. So that could be, part of it, that we critique ourselves, and some of it can come from your childhood. You talked about one of the parents. So it'll just fade away. You just keep going the way you're going. Beautiful. And I love your accent.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you can thank Mercury for that.
Well, I'm working with my Mercury retrograde right now, so that's why I also wanted to join Joni. I said, I'm so uncomfortable, but I just need to do it and just like get out of it, and get used to it, and it's okay,
Yeah. You're out of it. It's just some more time, and it's just you have to believe, and maybe that's what you need to work on, that I'm already out of it, because you can't have so many people following you if you're not out of it.
No, for sure.
Yeah, you're so genuine. You're so delightful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Because Anna, I'm sure, has a very busy schedule, and I don't want to keep her any longer, but I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I wish I would have said just thank you or something. Anyone want to say any last words? Okay, well, I guess we are complete here. And once again, Anna, thank you so much for doing this with us. We are so honored. You are so special, and this was just so joyful. And I know you and I will be talking soon, so I look forward to that again. But thank you everyone for showing up today. And I know everybody's gotten a lot out of this. I'm going to go get that book. What is it? The Power?
The Power, yes.
The Power. I'm going to get that today. Thank you for everything. And
Thank you all as well.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank
you.
you. Namaste. Thank you.
Great job, Anna. You're a
Thank you so
natural.
much. Thank you.